Live from Radio Row in Minnesota, it's Levack and Goz on 104.5 The Team.
Live on Radio Row in the Mall of America for Super Bowl 52. And they say that, it's good to have good neighbors. Rodney Peete, nice enough to join us right now. I didn't have the guts to ask you yesterday because the missus was here.
Yes.
And I was afraid she was going to hit me with a chair.
You mean the chair that we stole from you?
It wasn't, no, because she looked over, she goes, I'm taking this. I was like, yes, you are.
She did. She didn't even ask, man.
No,
she just took the chair.
I wasn't saying no.
We had Matt Mitrione, the mixed martial artist, and he's like, is that Holly Robinson Peete? Is that? I'm like, yeah. And he's looking at his kid. He goes, 21 Jump Street. She was, and like, so how often, who gets noticed first, even in a situation like this?
I would say it's about 80-20 that she gets noticed first.
Really?
Oh yeah. Even at
she's
the
got
Super Bowl.
both names.
Even at the even at the she's prettier than me. But even here at the Super Bowl, she gets noticed before I do. Although it kind of got closer because the Eagles are in it, and I played for the Eagles, so there's a lot of diehard Eagle fans that recognize me. So I'm closing that gap, but for the most part, it's I'm Mr. Robinson Peete.
That's very good. Eagles-Vikings is now 2 weekends removed. You're watching, as you said, as a former Eagle. Were you even surprised by how dominant they were in that victory?
Yeah, I was. I really was. And because I've really watched the Vikings all season long. That defense was as good as it gets in the NFL. My brother, I don't know if you know, my brother coaches running backs for the Rams. And so he's, he has the luxury of coaching Todd Gurley, which I tease him all the time. Like, you don't really do any coaching. You got a superstar running back. But we watched that game, and the Rams, who have one of the best offenses in the league, struggled against the Vikings. And so I thought it was going to be a tremendous challenge for the Eagles to move the football on them. So I was extremely surprised, but I guess less surprised because you saw what the Saints did to them the week before and Drew Brees in the second half. But you kind of wrote that off, say, well, Drew Brees can do that again, against anybody. But for the Eagles to do that, yeah, I was a little surprised.
Rodney Peete joining us right now on Radio Row. Tale of two quarterbacks in this Super Bowl. You've got a guy who had some success and now is a backup but gets thrown back into the starter role, and then the GOAT, Tom Brady. When you look at these two, can Foles do enough to counteract Brady?
I definitely think he can. I mean, the game he played against the Vikings and getting them here, he's certainly capable of getting it done. The thing that he can't do and should not do, and it's a trap, is you can't go out and play against Brady. He can't fall into the trap of I've got to outplay Tom Brady. He throws 3 touchdowns, I got to throw 4. He throws for 300, I got to throw for 350. If he does that, then he's really in trouble. He's got to play his game, allow what has happened for the Philadelphia Eagles all season long. They're very opportunistic. Let the defense play, get you field position, score when you can. You have to score when you can against the Patriots. And I don't mean just kick field goals. You got to score touchdowns when you're playing the Patriots because, as we've seen in the past, no lead is too far.
Do Philadelphia sports fans get a bad rap?
In what way? Bad rap in what way?
Snowballs at Santa, fists fighting police horses.
Listen, you can either look at it as passionate, as most, like my wife does, because she's from Philly. We're just passionate.
See, I knew I was scared of it.
Yeah, we're just passionate, but and they are. They're like that tight-knit family where they can say anything about you, but don't let anybody outside talk about Philadelphia. And sometimes they've gone too far. They hit Santa Claus with Snowball. They deny it now, but that happened. There was a time my first year in Philadelphia, and I'd played there before, and I knew how tough it was to play. And this was with the old Philadelphia, with the Vet Stadium, and they had a coach that just left Philadelphia on bad terms, Richie Kotite. Left and went to the Jets, came back and played a preseason game in Philadelphia. He's walking out of the tunnel, and he got hit in the head with a full beer can coming out of the tunnel. Oh. And one of the things that when you went to Philadelphia to play, and this was at the old stadium, was that you had signs up in your locker room, if you're the opposing team, to always keep your helmet on.
Oh, my God.
So, bad rap, I don't know, but, you take that the way you want to take it.
Well, and you, all right, so you had the opportunity to play for the Lions, the Cowboys, the Eagles. I know you're on my Raiders,
Yep.
Redskins, and then you finished, Carolina?
Finished in Carolina, yeah.
Who, of those teams, looking back, somebody asked you to, put the emblem on one more time. Which one is it?
Oh, wow. Wow, that's a tough one because growing up I was a Raider fan. I loved the Raiders. And
USC, right?
USC, right. Yeah, and when I was at USC, they played in the Coliseum. They were the LA Raiders, so always liked the Raiders. But loyalty would go back to Detroit because they were the team that drafted me. I spent my first 5 years there. They took a chance on me, so that's where I identify myself most as a Detroit Lion.
All right, so I don't know if a lot of people know this. You were also a very accomplished third baseman. What did you get? You got drafted by the A's?
Yeah, I got drafted by the A's a couple times. Toronto out of high school.
Oh, how many times were you drafted?
I was actually drafted 4 times. So Toronto out of high school, and then the Oakland A's drafted me my junior and senior year out of college, and then after my rookie year in Detroit, the Tigers drafted me.
Did you ever look back and say, man, I wish I had played third base?
I never did. I mean, I missed baseball when I stopped playing it because I loved it, played it the same amount of years as I did football growing up. And there was a part of me at a certain point, I didn't go to draft into the 6th round. So at that time, Oakland, the A's were really pursuing me, and there was a part of me saying, let's just go play baseball. But I think if I would have did that, I would always regretted not playing football. And right now, I don't look back and go, man, I should have played baseball. So, but if it was the other way around, I would have said, God, what would it have been like to play football and play quarterback?
I know Philadelphia's your former team. They got a tough matchup on Sunday. Which way are you leaning towards this game and why?
Natural thinking is that the Patriots get it done again. This is Brady's time again and Belichick's time again. But I think they probably in a year are ripe to get beat. And Philadelphia, they're playing with a chip on their shoulder. They're wearing that underdog, and they're rolling with it. And it hasn't really gotten too far underhand because they're backing it up on the field. And they've got the formula. They've got the New York Giants kind of formula where they get after you with those front 4 up front, and they rotate them in and out. And they've got 7, 8 guys that can come and play defensive line and get pressure on Brady without having to blitz. And so in that respect, I think they got a real shot. I mean, my heart is rooting for Philadelphia. I want them to win it. But I do believe that they got a shot to knock the Patriots off.
Would love it. It's the Super Bowl. It's Radio Row. Like I said, had to bother my neighbor. I had to knock on your door and borrow a cup of sugar. So I appreciate Rodney Peete joining us. I watched you play at USC. I was ticked off when you went to Detroit instead of Oakland. I grew up a Raiders fan. Right so that was like when you ended up in Oakland, I was like, finally, where you been?
Yeah.
Because you threw one of the sweetest rainbow passes.
Thanks, man.
I watched our high school teams. Troy, the kid in Troy throws this little rainbow and everybody just runs underneath it.
Yeah.
I'm like, they must have been watching some Rodney Peete.
Thanks, I appreciate it.
Just run underneath it with your hands open. You'll be all right.
And I'll say, being a Raider at the time, John Gruden was there. Now he's back, so I'm happy about that. But, yeah, we played the Patriots. I was on that team with the tuck rule, man. I still's got a bad taste in my mouth about just that rule itself, but then also the Patriots. That was kind of the launching of Tom Brady that game. So,
you've seen enough. If that doesn't happen.
We win the Super Bowl that year.
Absolutely, right?
Yeah. I think we do.
I've been telling you that.
Yeah, well, if we want to continue to follow Rodney Peete, where else can people follow you? I see the headset. I see everything. Where can we see you now?
Rodney Peete 9 is my Twitter. I do a local show in L.A., a radio show with my man Fred Rogan on AM 570 L.A. Sports. My wife and I have a reality show coming out on the Hallmark Channel.
Love it.
Premiering on February 18th. I am hosting and calling play-by-play for the Kitten Bowl on Hallmark Channel this Sunday at noon. The Kitten Bowl, guys. I know we're here for the Super Bowl and all that, but it's all about the Kitten Bowl. All about the 5th annual Kitten Bowl.
I've heard good things about the Claus team. I've heard.
Yes.
I've heard good things. Rodney Peete, thank you so much for making time for us, man. You are the best.
You got it, guys.
We've got an Olympian joining us next.